Okay, I want to welcome all new listeners and welcome back all returning listeners. Thanks for tuning in. Our episode drink of the week. I am repeating a drink, and it's because I cannot remember what drinks I've had in order. I will explain in a moment, but this is another raspberry bubbly mixed with Tito's vodka. Decided to just call it a Raspberry Vodka Spritz. Is that technically correct? Probably not, but I need a cutesy name. I put it in a little gimlet glass. Look how adorable she is, romanticizing my life. That's what we're having, a raspberry vodka spritz. She's strong. I have a heavy pour. I don't know why I'm ever shocked by my heavy pour, but it's heavy and we're just going to roll with it. We're just going to basically drink just the vodka itself. Okie dokie. So, this is going to kick off a brand new series that I am starting. This episode is technically my birthday episode. My birthday, okay, so as I am filming this right now, my birthday is in 2 days. While you guys are hearing this, my birthday was 2 days ago. So it's like smack dab right in the middle. And as you guys know, I am a very proud Leo. So this is kicking off our August Leo series. It's starting this week, being hosted by myself, an August 2nd Leo. But the next 3 weeks of August will be co-hosted and guested by another fellow August Leo. I'm really excited for this series, and luckily I have a bunch of Leo friends, so I was able to fill each and every week with an August Leo. Not that I'm opposed to July Leos, I just don't have any July Leo friends. So, but willing to take applications, definitely open to having more Leo friends. But all of my guests for the next 3 weeks will be August Leos. So this is just kicking off an August Leo series. I'm really excited for it. And I do need to mention this today. We have been filming the episodes out of order, which is why I can't remember which episode I did the quote unquote Raspberry Vodka Spritz. I've kind of been doing like batch filming content at this point. So next week's episode, that was filmed several weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. I'm gonna say 2 weeks. Honestly, I can't really keep track of my weeks. I just know what day the episode is supposed to come out. But I filmed that a couple weeks ago. So because I was so caught up in reconnecting with this specific person, I forgot to introduce said person as my first August Leo co-host until halfway through the episode. So next week you will hear the first installment of this series. Unfortunately, I don't address it right off the bat. So my bad. I was just really excited to see this person again, reconnect, talk. I'm really excited for you guys to hear that episode. I'm excited for you guys to hear all the episodes. But yeah, next week's episode was filmed very much in advance, to the point where I was unsure of how the content was going to go. And I need to catch up with this person and film some extra content. That's as much as I want to say right now without giving away like the whole enchilada. So yes, I'm very excited. Again, this is my birthday episode. It will go better than my last birthday episode, which that was the first episode I had Robert on the podcast. And while that was a very nice episode, we had both been drinking all day because we filmed that on my actual birthday, and shit went off the rails, and I was a little messy Bessie. Not messy, it's not like I fell down. I was just like a drunky poo. So yeah, this episode will go much better. Actually, this episode's gonna be pretty normal. We have Gremlin Stories, Gremlin Guidance, and Gremlin Gossip. It's a full complete episode. The next 3 episodes that you hear for the month of August, it's gonna be a little more centered around each guest, and then there will be a Gremlin Guidance question thrown into the mix because I love getting other people's opinion. I love to banter about the Gremlin Guidance because maybe that person would have a different perspective than I would have. So it'll be a little more centered on that specific special guest. And then we will throw in some Gremlin Guidance, maybe a Gremlin story, maybe a Gremlin Gossip. I'm not 100% sure. We shall wait and see. With the exception of next week's episode, that's the only one that's been filmed in advance. The next 2 episodes will be filmed soon. I don't need to give you guys the filming schedule. It's a bunch of like backstory stuff that is unnecessary. You guys just get to sit back and enjoy the content. Yeah, my schedule is kind of boring. So with that, also I feel a little drunk. I have barely eaten today. And that's not just because I'm like being a weirdo. I just was kind of like running around a little bit today. Also, if you guys are watching on YouTube, I'm in a very girly outfit. I don't know why I picked such a girly outfit. I put it on and I was like, ooh, this feels like frilly and girly. And I don't know if I'm a frilly, girly person. I think to some people I am, and others, like, they don't see me like that. Like, I feel like for the most part, on my off days, I dress like Adam Sandler. But I want to like be cute and put an effort into how I look. And I don't know, like this new age of me being 33, yuck. I don't know if I'm loving that, but no, I'm gonna embrace it. I'm gonna love it. But yeah, I just like want to like put an effort into myself and making myself feel better. And yeah, also I had to sit down and think about how old I was going to be when this birthday comes around. I had a hard time remembering, am I currently right now, as I'm sitting here today on July 31st, am I 32 or am I 33 or was I 31? I knew I wasn't 31, but I was kind of hoping, I guess. But yeah, right now currently I'm 32, but this year I am turning 33. We're gonna embrace it. We're gonna embrace it. Also, I saw something on TikTok where it was this like group of kids, legit kids, and they were like, oh, like people who were born in the 1900s. And I was like, oh my God, like clutch my pearls, that is me. It just made me feel some type of way, but I'm gonna embrace it. 33, I love the number 3. So this has to be a great year. I'm manifesting it to be a great year. I'm slowly like having a mini meltdown within my head. But you know what? Even though this is my birthday episode, this is not about me. This is about you guys, because we have Gremlin Stories, Gremlin Guidance, and Gremlin Gossip. And might I say, we have some insane submissions. A couple of them made me, again, clutch my pearls. And I was like, oh, heavens to Betsy, here we go. So let's just get into it. Let's have another drink in celebration of my birthday. I think I will be having many drinks to celebrate my birthday this weekend, but let this be the first. All right, we're gonna, of course, start with Gremlin Stories, as always, because a girl needs some order in her life. This first Gremlin story comes to us from Tracy. And Tracy says, I feel like Bumble doesn't get mentioned too much on this podcast, but as a loyal Bumblebee, here's my story of the worst date that came from this app. For starters, the date was terrible because of myself and not him. I love a self-aware queen. I had planned a Sunday brunch date with a cutie I had met through the app. He picked out this really adorable spot I had been wanting to go to, so it was perfect. The date was set and I was really looking forward to it. That Saturday rolls around and my best friend tells me her sister was just broken up with and they wanted to go to a club. I naively assumed I could meet them out for a drink and head home early. That never happens. One drink turned into a rager and I'm stumbling home at 3 a.m. My alarm goes off at 9 a.m. and I feel like shit. My head is throbbing, my stomach is churning, and the spins are real. I almost canceled the date, but I thought that would be so rude to do so last minute. And plus, I really wanted to eat at this brunch spot. So I muster up every ounce of energy I can. I shower, I put on some makeup, and I head out the door. When I get to the restaurant, I look at myself in the rearview mirror, and I am shocked. The makeup is basically sinking into the bags under my eyes, and no amount of blush could hide the paleness. Oh, honey. Okay. I suck it up. I suck it up and head on in with my sunglasses on and my wobbly gait. I see him sitting at the table and sit down, greeting him with a hug. I can tell he can tell I'm hungover, but neither of us address the elephant in the room. We get through the pleasantries and order some food. By this time, I'm starving and desperate for any food in my system to soak up the nausea. The food arrives, and I turn into a monster, just gobbling up my avocado toast, eggs, and hash browns. I must have looked insane because he's staring at me and peeking around to see if I've garnered any attention from a neighboring table. The date ends, and he was very polite and paid the check in full. He asks if he can walk me to my car, a choice him and I were about to regret. As we are walking, my stomach begins to turn. I'm starting to walk a little faster, and then that's it. I bend over and throw up all of my food. He stares horrified and is trying to see if I'm okay. I apologize and just get in my car. I needed to leave the scene of the crime where my food and my dignity just laid there in the parking lot. I texted him the following day to explain why I was sick and apologizing for my quite literal outburst. I explained I should have postponed the date but did not want to be rude. He responded with a thumbs up, and I never heard from him again. That brunch place was good though. Tracy. Oh, Tracy. Honey, you should have postponed the date. But it's a shoulda, woulda, coulda type of thing. Honestly, I thought this, like when I started to read this, because I skimmed the whole thing and then I read the entire email. I really thought you were going to do like a hair of the dog, like mimosa, Bloody Mary, which is a gamble, I will say. Okay, look, I haven't been that hungover in a moment. When you're that hungover, hair of the dog is either going to do one of two things. It's either going to cure you and basically even you out, or it's going to release this exorcism of the last hangover. And then you should be good. Should be, not always, don't quote me. So that's what I thought you were going to do. You didn't. I don't know if that would have helped you. Honestly, I think you ate too fast on top of being hungover. So what I would have done, actually, you know what? I was going to say what I would have done would be order a drink, which might make me look bad, but it's brunch. Brunch is like known to be like somewhat of a boozy event. But in all honesty, like, postponing the date would have been like my way to go, because I said this to my boyfriend the other day. We've been doing a rewatch of Vanderpump Rules. I forgot, like, in rewatching it, how much they drank. Like, these guys were just like pounding the drinks like every single night, but then they would get up the next morning and go to like an event or go like film and do something, and I'm like, when I drink that much, not even that much, just like if I drink like a little more than like my body is like happy with, the next morning I ain't getting up and doing shit. Like, I am comatose. I'm gonna lay there and I'm going to cry about the fact that I don't feel well and just like really wallow in my own self-pity. The fact that these people would get up and do stuff is wild to me. I just went on a tangent, super sorry. The point of me saying all that is to say the fact that you got up, got dressed, showered, did makeup, did hair, and then drove there is astonishing. Could never be me. Super impressed with the fact you were able to do that, because I would have just woken up, laid there, hated myself, and then been like, you know what? I can't get up. I can't make this date. I'm going to postpone it. And hopefully he was cool with that. So I'm going to give you, Tracy, I'm going to give you kudos on the fact that you got up and you did it. Did it end well? No. But you did more than I could have done. So Tracy, I send you my love. We are going to move on to the next Gremlin story, which was sent to us by Sydney. Okie dokie. So to quote my BFF Jay, yikes bikes, I just realized that the mini microphone I wear on my chest for the YouTube video, it died. So I just took a pause to let it charge. Is it possible it will die while I am still recording? Yes. Am I hoping it won't? Of course. So I am going to redo the second Gremlin story because I believe that's when it died. And if it does die again, unfortunately, I don't have time to pause again. So we just got to hope and pray. And I am going to talk very, very loud just in case the microphone dies. Super sorry if you're watching. Again, trying to be professional, but we are all human and we all make mistakes. And unfortunately, I was a dum-dum and I did not charge the microphones. My mistake won't happen again. Okie dokie. So this next Gremlin story is from Sydney. And Sydney says, "Hi there. Love this podcast so much. Every time there's a missed week, I'm fiending for more, so I go back and listen to old episodes. You've become my comfort show, and I selfishly want a daily podcast, even though that's an insane request. Anyway, enough praise. Time for my ridiculous story about the most insane date I went on recently. So I met a guy through the apps. Yes, you should be sponsored at this point. And after talking, we set a date and a time for him to pick me up so we could go see a play we both really wanted to see. He arrives, I hop in the car, give each other a hello peck on the cheek, and we are off to see the play. We're about halfway there, talking the whole way, when I decide to go into my purse for some lip balm. While pulling it out, I accidentally drop it at my feet. He sees this and says, "Oh, let me get that for you," and reaches over to pick it up. Mind you, we are not stopped at a red light and we are driving down a main street. I'm startled and look up just in time to see us hit a bicyclist. I'm screaming, he's screaming. I'm telling him to stop. We pull over and this cyclist is on the ground. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to laugh at this. It's just wild. Okay. I rush over to see if he's okay, and I turn back to my date to call an ambulance, and he's standing there in tears with his face in his hands. So now I have to call and comfort my date while simultaneously making sure this poor guy we ran over is okay. Okay. The police and ambulance get there, and thank the Lord above, the cyclist was okay and didn't need to go to the hospital. A couple of scrapes, but he was okay, mostly just shocked. Duh. The police took the report, and thankfully my date was sober, just a sobbing mess. We are all released, and I tell my date I'm just going to call an Uber and go home. He asks if I want to go out again another time, and I politely decline, telling him this date was too much and mentally draining. He says, quote, "But I didn't hit you," through his bawling tears. He was nice, but I could never date him after watching him hit someone and then having a mental breakdown. Again, love your podcast, Sydney. Come on. This is okay. This is so Michael Scott coded. I didn't hit you. Okay, I'm gonna quote this shit line for line. Literally, Michael Scott hits Meredith in the parking lot of their job, and then takes her to the hospital, and she thankfully lives. But he has a line in there. So the whole office hears about it, finds out. They want to all go visit Meredith in the hospital. And everyone's trying to arrange a carpool. Like Jim is saying he can take some people. Pam says she can take others. And Michael, the man who hit Meredith, says he can take 3 people in his car. To which Stanley replies, "Are you kidding me? You ran a woman over this morning." And Michael replies very indignantly, "But everyone inside the car was fine, Stanley." That was this guy. That was your date. Everyone inside the car was fine. Yeah, great. But like you, his driving is terrible. He was driving and then saw you drop something, so decided to reach over and go into the passenger side to pick up your lip balm. It's not like you dropped like a nuclear bomb. Like he's picking up a chapstick and he's acting like this is wild. This is some insane behavior. I wouldn't want to date him either because like what the fuck else am I to expect after this date? Like is he like I don't even know. We just hit a cyclist, but like that's crazy. Thankfully that guy was okay and wasn't like severely injured or possibly killed. Like that could have been like a manslaughter charge, a vehicular manslaughter charge. Is he unaware of this? Like what is his driving record? Whatever. Okay. I just that was so Michael Scott. That was a wild ass fucking story. And then he's sobbing on the fucking sidewalk while you're like tending to both, like technically the true victim and then like the perpetrator. Like what the what the fuck? This is insane. Yeah, I wouldn't date him either because heavens to Betsy. Like what the fuck else are we in for? I don't even know. Sydney, I'm so sorry that happened to you. That's really all I have to say about that. I can't believe that. All right. Now that I am all in a tizzies, let's do some Gremlin guidance. I'm gonna have another drink because honestly, that microphone dying on me like really like bothered me. I was like, oh fuck. It really like ruined my jive and my groove. Okie dokie. One Gremlin guidance for today because I had said this in a previous episode. I was saving my Gremlin guidances or like kind of banking them because I love to talk about the Gremlin guidance with somebody else. So that is why I haven't been answering multiples in each episode. Such as today, there's only one Gremlin guidance, but I thought it was a good one. I enjoyed it. This is from Anonymous. Anonymous asks, question about your thoughts on joint finances. I've been with my boyfriend for 5 years now. We live together and things are going well. But lately he has been pressuring me to start banking with him. I love him and don't think we would break up, but you never know, and I don't want all my money tied up with him. Am I being unreasonable, and is this a common step in the relationship? Or would you never bank with your significant other? Anonymous. I had a couple thoughts with this. Okay, so I'll tell you my personal situation without like giving like away the entire farm. So I have my own personal bank account, as does my boyfriend. Like we've never given up like our personal bank accounts, but we have together created a joint bank account where we pay off like our rent, our utilities, like any of like the household expenses. That's what comes out of that account. But never once did I give up my personal account, nor did he. So I would suggest doing that because for him to give up his account and for you to give up your account, I think is not odd. I don't know, like I just like there to be a separation because like what if you want to buy him like a birthday present or a Christmas present or vice versa? Like you would see the charge. So like I think each person in the relationship should have their own bank account and then you guys can have a joint account, which is what the household expenses come out of. But if he doesn't want you to have your own bank account, I think that's a little weird. You never said that, so I'm hoping that's like not the case. But yeah, I would just make a joint account that has both of your names on it and that's what you pay like household expenses off of. But I wouldn't give up your own account. I think that's weird. Like household expenses come out of the joint account, at least in my family and household. Household expenses come out of the joint account and then my personal expenses come out of my account, such as like my phone. And, same as his. So anything that isn't in both of our names, that comes out of like our personal accounts. So joint account, yes. Private accounts that you each have to yourself, 100%. And that's my guidance on that. We're going to move on to gossip right now. Because I hope I didn't like make an assumption about like, I don't know. I feel like I made it sound like he was like being controlling, but I hope he wasn't. And I feel like maybe he was just like kind of wanting to like take maybe like another step in the relationship. And I hope that's what it was. I hope it wasn't like a give up your bank account kind of a thing. I feel like I'm still making the assumption, so I'm going to shut up. Okie dokie. Gremlin Gossip. The first one is from Beatrice. And Beatrice says, "Hello, Gremily." Hello. "I have a story, but maybe it's more of a gossip." I put it in gossip. "This is all the way back in 2006 when MySpace was ruling the world. I was in 7th grade and addicted, constantly changing my top 8 depending on the friend dynamics of the week, and posting pictures with bangs covering half of my face and holding up the peace sign. My mom wasn't crazy about allowing me to have a MySpace account, but I wore her down after a ton of teenage complaining. But she did make the rule: no friendships with anyone I did not know. I thought it was a stupid, restrictive rule, but I was willing to adhere to it. That was until I received a message from a cute boy named Chad. I didn't know a Chad, and he was listed as going to a different middle school in my district. He said I was cute and loved my page, so we sent messages back and forth. He sent me some selfies, so I would send him selfies back. None of the pictures were risque, just innocent pictures I would normally post on my wall. Then he asked if we could meet and get some ice cream. I was so excited, but knew my mom would never let me go, so I hatched a plan. I told her I was going to my friend's house after school to work on a book report and would be home in time for dinner. She bought it. So after school, I marched to the mall to meet him at the Cold Stones. I sit down and wait, and I'm approached by a man. He calls me by my name and introduces himself as Chad. He was at least in his 40s with salt and pepper hair. I stayed in my seat, frozen from shock. He explains that he thought I was cute, but was afraid I wouldn't talk to him when I saw what he actually looked like, so he used his nephew's pictures instead. A wave of panic washed over me, and I got up to leave and told him to leave me alone. I ran home terrified at the predicament I had just put myself in. I deleted my MySpace. I never told anyone, especially my mom, and I never heard from Chad again. I was definitely lucky because this story could have ended very differently. I'm now a parent to the most beautiful 3-month-old girl, and I have a new appreciation for my mom's rules. Everyone stay safe out there. Beatrice. Okay. When I read that, I got like chillies. Like I got like goosebumps. Um like it really could have ended 100% differently, and thank God it didn't, because like I feel like that could have been like an episode of like one of those like ID shows that I love to watch. That's terrifying. He was obviously a predator who saw a cute middle schooler and was like, "Oh, she's perfect." And what, like he was hoping that you were what, just going to be like enthralled with like an older man's attention? I don't know. Either way, I'm so happy that you realized what was happening and were able to get up and leave, and thank God he didn't follow you, message you again. Like, good God, that is terrifying. And look, I I have a lot of issues with the way I was raised, and I do believe I was restricted in many ways that I think were overbearing. And my mom was very weird about a lot of things, like not even just like the early stages of social media, just a lot of things. We don't need to get into that right now, but one of the things is I never had a MySpace ever once, and I feel like Beatrice, you and I are around the same age. I wasn't allowed to have a MySpace, and it really bothered me, and I was really mad at her because I just felt like she was like taking away like my freedom and my ability to make friends. I don't even know. I don't know. I can think back to that time, and just I remember being mad. But in her terrible restrictive way, she did keep me safe. She kind of did have her finger on the pulse of like the dangers of social media back then. And I can appreciate that. So, should I ever become a parent, will I do the same things that she did? No. But can I appreciate her sentiment? Yes. I will just like reframe the way that the rules are set, I suppose, is where I'm going with that. So, Beatrice, thank God you're safe. Obviously, we kind of learned a lesson here, and yikes bikes. Again, to quote Jay, yikes bikes. Also, I just realized my microphone died again. So we gotta just toss it. I don't have time to stop this and charge it. We gotta just like go, go, go. So I'm gonna talk louder for the video. If you're watching on YouTube, I am so sorry that the sound is gonna be going in and out. But we have one more Gremlin Gossip. And this is from Anonymous. We're gonna have a little quick sip. All right, Anonymous says, oh, speaking of Jay, I know your friend Jay has been on some really shitty dates, but I'd like to present my case for the worst date. Jay, watch out. Let's see what happens. This was a blind date set up by a coworker, and let me tell you, I now have beef with her and will never agree to a blind date again. Again is in all capital letters. I met this dude at the restaurant, and he seems normal. It was a Mexican restaurant, so when the waiter asks what we want to drink, I order myself a margarita. My date says, well, if you're gonna have one, I'll join you. Okay, great. Conversation is pleasant until that drink is finished. He orders another and becomes a different person. I watched this regular guy become a sloppy mess. The food arrives, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe the food will help. Nope. With the arrival of our fajitas, he orders shots. Now I'm scared. I tell him, I think we should just eat and hold off on the drinks, and he says, no. Just point blank, no. So I eat my dinner, because I'm starving, and he has both shots that came to the table. Now I'm feeling trapped by this guy because I don't want him to drive, but I really want to leave. So I lean over the table and tell him I would love it if we could drink some water because we have been drinking tequila and we need to hydrate ourselves. I'm including myself in this so he doesn't feel attacked. That's when the unthinkable happens. He gives me the most earnest look and says, quote, "You are the most caring woman I have ever met." He stumbles up and falls on one knee. "Will you marry me?" He proclaims so loud our entire section whips around to look at us. I just stood up and walked to the front desk. I informed them that the man I met for the first time tonight is extremely drunk and should not drive, and I booked it the hell out of there. When I go to work the next day, I ask my coworker what the fuck is up and why she would set me up with this guy. I tell her about the margs and the proposal, and she responds back with, "Oh no, he drank. He's an alcoholic and has been sober for months." So that's the story of my worst date, and also why I now have beef with this lady at work. Anonymous. Come on. Okay, I have beef with this lady that you work with too. She sets you up with a very newly recovering alcoholic and doesn't tell you, hey, by the way, like, where did she meet him? How did she know him? I just feel like this is, if somebody's that newly into their sobriety, it needs to be discussed. Maybe, I don't know, not discussed, but just like, I don't know, like give your coworker / friend a warning. Like, what, you're just gonna like kick her out to the wolves and like hope she survives? She obviously didn't. She didn't know. Like, I don't think you would have ordered a margarita knowing that this guy was like newly on his sobriety journey. Plain and simple. Like, if I were you and I heard like, oh, this guy is newly in the program, I wouldn't be over here like letting my freak flag fly and ordering a strawberry margarita. Not that that's what you said you ordered, I'm just assuming because that's what I like. I don't know. I have beef with this coworker too. I don't know who she is. I don't know who you are, Anonymous, but I'm a ride or die for my listeners, and yeah, fuck that bitch. How dare she? I think I should be newly on my sobriety journey because I feel a little tipsies. So we're gonna end this podcast out with that. It's fucking Leo season, dude. It's Leo season. We're gonna party up the next 3 weeks. I'm so excited for you guys to listen to. Very excited. It's going to be a great series, and hopefully it'll be like a yearly series and one that just grows and expands because this podcast will grow and expand. Let's have a little sippies before we do our outro. All right. If you would like to follow myself and the podcast, you may do so on Instagram and TikTok at Emily to Gremily Pod. If you would like to watch this episode and almost all the past episodes we have ever done, you may do so on YouTube at Emily to Gremily Pod on YouTube. If you have your own Gremlin story, you need Gremlin Guidance, or you have a juicy piece of Gremlin Gossip, you can email that into the podcast at emilytogramlilypod@gmail.com, or message or DM me on social media, whichever you prefer. And remember to let me know if you would like to remain anonymous or not. That is very important. A call to action I'm saying at the end of every episode. If you have an episode topic or theme suggestion, or you have a guest suggestion, someone you would like to see or hear on this podcast, or if you yourself want to be a guest, we just did our very first Zoom remote podcast, so that really opens the door to absolutely anybody who wants to be a guest on this podcast. Please email me at emilytogramlilypod@gmail.com, or message or DM me on social media and let me know if it's yourself, why you would like to be a guest on this podcast, what we would talk about, and let's connect. And remember to like, follow, share, subscribe, rate 5 stars, do all the things. We are going to cheers out with our made up Raspberry Vodka Spritz. So cheers to you, cheers to me, and cheers to fucking Leo season. Fuck yeah, the best season to have ever existed. Cheersies, guys. See you next week. Bye.